Okay, so I was like super excited about this call tonight because I want to tell you guys, most of you know that I've been doing Plexus for 10 years. And when I first started, we did not have all these amazing resources and trainings that corporate does. All I had was a Sonya Dudley who I did not know, and I would listen to her videos and I would listen to her heart and her love for Jesus and the way she wanted to help people. And I was like, I would do anything that woman told me to do. Well, a couple months into Plexus, I ended up on a cruise with her. And I remember being with my ex husband, and we sat there talking to her and her husband. And my ex husband goes, if these are the people that represent this company, we're in forever. Like they were so kind and down to earth. And over the last 10 years, Sonia spoke at every event we've ever had, probably. But the one thing that I always stood out to me, I mean, now she's become a dear friend, and I'm grateful for that. But even when she didn't know me well, she could pick out any person and speak love and kindness. She could make you feel heard and important. She would remember your name and she would have a million people waiting for her attention, yet she'd still make you feel like you're the most important person in the room. And to me, I think that makes her the greatest person I've ever met in my life. And so we were so honored when she said she'd speak to us.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, that's a lot of shoes to fill there. That's just over the top, beyond kind. Thank you. I've loved you from the moment I met you. I'm a good reader of people, and I can spot a good heart and someone who's very authentic. And I knew right away, Noelle was like, I'm like, she's like just the real deal. She's just who she is, and she doesn't try to sugarcoat it. Doesn't try to, you know, so many people get wrapped up in the how to, but I have always said, what's the saying? I say I've always said it, but I always sometimes get it backwards. God does not call the equipped; He equips the called. And I love that because I believe, Noelle, you're just like I was. I didn't know all the answers when I joined Plexus, but I felt very much called to do it. So I thought I would just kind of share a little bit of my
Hey, hold
story
on,
with.
boys.
I'm
One
sorry. Oh, sorry.
more.
Hey, Tracy, can you mute?
One more.
Let me mute. See if I can. Okay, perfect. I thought you were saying something to me, and then I'm like, oh, then the little box showed up. But yeah, I thought I'd just share a little bit of my story, and then give you guys just a few of the things along my journey that I feel like um, have helped me to build what I consider just, a long-term legacy business. I would really, I feel like in my heart that every one of you on here, if you're in this business and you've been in, maybe some of you have been in other businesses like this, you're that person who you have a dream of, you're wanting more for your family. And when people say to me, I don't want to quit my job, sometimes I believe them and sometimes I don't believe them. It's hard to believe that anyone would want anyone to tell them a schedule. Maybe you have a job where you control your own schedule and you're a physical therapist and you make your own hours. I get it. But so many people feel like they have to have this other job, and so it's hard to say I just want this for part-time. I can't imagine anyone truly not wanting complete time freedom, complete financial freedom, to the point where you just wake up and go, what am I going to do today? That's where we all want to get to. I would have to believe that. Um, it's just a great place. I know so many faces. Lisa Hildebrandt, she's on my team as well. And all of you are on my team somewhere. Lisa, I work with real closely in Iowa. And I remember, flying to Iowa, and I'm in Iowa, and her, tragedy happened with her dad, then her mom, and then I look at the few months after that, like just the time freedom and the blessing as a senior Ruby and a steady for years, being able to make those decisions not based on your bank account, but like, whew, I've worked hard. I'm at a point where I can have some freedom. So I want to just kind of take you back a little bit and tell you a little bit about my story and hopefully give you a lot of good nuggets that you can glean from this. But my name is Sonya Dudley, and I have been in Plexus for it's over 12 years now, but this month, actually, Thanksgiving, the Monday, it was either the Monday before, I think it was Cyber Monday, right after Thanksgiving, but it was still November. I quit my job and went full-time Plexus, and I'd been in 10 weeks. And my story is that I've always done network marketing. I did it full time as a career for 17 years and loved, loved everything about it. But as the years went on with that company, I was getting really burned out on going into debt, lots of debt for inventory, and then not being able to move that inventory, but still needing the new stuff because the new catalog. And we just got in over our heads for years, and I got tired of doing the parties and packing the car and unpacking the car. And it was makeup, so the lipstick couldn't melt in the summer and the eyeliners, right? So it was a lot of labor, and it was a lot of taking a lot of chances because you know as well as I know we can't control people. People are your biggest blessing, but they're also your biggest challenge. And there's good in both of those things because without the challenges, we can't grow and learn. We just life's too easy and we can't teach other people things that we haven't went through. So it was all good. I'm thankful for all of that. But when I got out of that company after 17 years, I just said, I'll never do anything like this again because it was great. I started at 19 years old, did it all the way, to whatever that was, 17 years. And I'm like, that was good. It was a season and it was wonderful and lots of great memories and things, but it's time for something new. And I was really, really sick, health wise. I was really, really sick in my 30s. And I said, well, I'll never do that again, but I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. Well, I mean, when you don't have a college degree and you've always done network marketing, but you didn't want to do that again because the only thing I knew was parties and inventory, and I was done. I was like, I'm gonna have to go get a job. So I did all kinds of things in 5 years. I did a lot of things in 5 years. I bought two brick and mortar businesses, went into debt $120,000 for those right before the crash of '08. And my mom had put her house up for it, so I had to make it work, or I had to just, face the consequences. And there was a lot of lessons in that, a lot of lessons in that. Um, when I was so sick to a point of I had to just kind of give up everything. And when I got into Plexus, I was working a full-time job. I was just I was just functioning, barely functioning. And I remember saying when Helen said to me, "We're going to do this thing," I said, "No, I'm not." She's like, "I know, but it's different." You know, when you can change someone's quality of life and it matters every day. Like it matters. You could be skinny. You could be skinny and lose all this weight, but if you're not healthy, what good's it going to do? I was in makeup. I could make women feel great and look great, but if they didn't feel good, they're not going to leave their house to wear it, right? So I felt like, wow, if these products really do what you're telling me they're doing, and I'm going to read some testimonies, and I'm like, this could actually be the answer. She told me there was no inventory, no parties. And so, coming from a small town of, we have 2,500 in my town. In the whole county, we have around 7,000 maybe now. And, you know, all I knew was makeup. All I knew was doing parties. I did not know. And when I joined Plexus in 2012, we didn't have catalogs. We had one, two, three, four, five products. We didn't, like Noelle said, there wasn't really trainings out there. There wasn't anything to find. There was misspelled words all over the website. It was quite the journey that we've come to now. But I remember thinking, after watching the compensation plan, Sheila Medina sponsored Helen. Helen sponsored me the same day. Sheila always says she had twins that day, and pretty much she did because Helen and I didn't know anything. But I remember Sheila telling us the compensation plan, and me and Helen, coming from Mary Kay and Sheila too, we were like, I've never seen anything like this. If this means that a lot of people, brand new, can put money in their pocket, that's unheard of. without being in a company a long time or without working very, very, very hard. So I thought, this makes sense. This is exciting. So I got on the products, and before I got the products in, I hit silver. Now, I tell you that to say this. When people say to you, or when you think in your mind, I'm not a good leader, I don't know, I don't have the best system to give them, I've got to tell them exactly what to do or they're not going to do it. That is not true. That is not true. When people are hungry, I was hungry. I would cry myself to sleep at night, not just for my pain in my body, but I would look at my husband and I would say, I know I told you for all those years that I was going to retire you early. And I would just cry and I'd be like, I can't believe I've gotten this into what I've gotten this into. And I'm so sorry. And I would just cry. I'm like, we're never going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So, y'all, when I found Plexus, I did not worry or concern myself with how's this going to work? How am I going to do this? What do I say? What are the ingredients? How do I get to the next rank? I didn't know any of that, and it did not matter. Did not matter. Because what I knew was I was hungry. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. I knew that you're only given so many opportunities, I feel like, in your life that really make sense for you. And I thought, I've been praying. God, you know my heart. You know I want to be home. You know I don't like being away from my family. You know I don't like missing out. I've always been home working, and here I am, working outside of the home. You know that I want unlimited potential. You know that all these things. I'm like, I give 100% no matter what I do. I was just talking all the time to God. So you're never guaranteed something better than what you're offered. When you're offered something that you feel like, oh, this makes sense to me, expect there to be bumps in the road. Expect yourself to go, ooh, this could be a little difficult. Expect yourself not to know all the answers, but don't quit on yourself. Quit quitting. Quit quitting. Just quit quitting. So many people just quit too soon, and they're not consistent, and they just quit too soon, and then they try something else because it's more fun, it's more exciting. Well, then you become known as that person who then you become where I don't want to post on Facebook, I don't want to post on Instagram because all my friends have seen me do 6 things, and it just kind of becomes, what's the, crying wolf? Yeah. So I did not know anything. And I remember thinking, I'm going to do this. What's the first way I can make money? And Sheila said to us, me and Helen, go find 3 people who need these products, but could use some extra money themselves. And I was like, okay. So I started writing down the people. And she didn't even tell us what to say. But we literally winged it. I mean, I don't know what this is, but it's clean, it's plant-based, it's healthy. The testimonies are incredible. I've never slept better in my life. I'm feeling great. My pain is already lessened. But you've got to try this. And that's basically how I got my way to Diamond in 10 months. And I am not kidding. I remember just thinking, people would say, how did you do it? What's your strategy? My strategy was I had the compensation plan printed out. And I would print that out if I were you. If you've never printed the chart, you can go to your back office help center and then type in compensation chart. Print the chart out and put it on your wall. I had it taped right there. It was that room, but I had it right there beside the computer. And I would just look at the next rank. And I remember when I hit gold, which is 100 points. I remember the next month looking at my back office, and it was 0 on the next day. And I remember calling the company and going, where did my points go? That's how green I was. I did not know they started over every month. And then when they told me that, I said, how am I ever going to get to where I need to be, So truly you can do this if you have the hunger. You've got to be very authentic and real with people. Um, I, I think the very first thing you do is you make that one-time decision to never quit. It's a one-time decision. I'm not quitting. I'm doing this. So when you've made that decision, then you have to say, I'm going to be real with people. When people say, well, what is in it? Or, well, what does it do for you? Well, how do you know it's not going to hurt you? Or is it FDA approved? Or, how all these questions. If you don't know the answer, like I didn't know the answers, I would just say, actually, I'm not really sure on that answer, but I can tell you this. I will get you that answer and I will get you the answer today. And that people appreciate that. They appreciate people who don't just try to fluff their way through things and look good and impress them. I don't know about you, but if I go into a store to buy something, I don't need to be impressed. I don't want to be sold to. I just want to know that person is there if I need them. And, maybe they have a suggestion for me, like we suggest things for people once they open up to us, but we don't want to be sold to. So keep that in mind when you're talking to people. Just simply treat people the way you want to be talked to. It's pretty simple. But having that hunger and that grit that no matter what, you're not giving up. I will tell you, there's been many times along this journey, over 12 years, and then the other journey I was on for 17 years. There was a lot of times when, and even in Plexus, where I was like, I mean, you just have a day where you're like, I don't know if it's worth it. I've had two customers quit. I've had you know, I had an emerald to go to another company, all in the same day. And you're like, oh, and then you get a million messages and a million things to deal with. And you're like, is it worth it? And is God trying to tell me something? No, God's not trying to tell you something. Those are the challenges and lessons that if you don't learn them and go through them, you will never grow to the next level. If you've been, and I don't even like to say the word stuck because it drives me crazy, but when people say, I've been stuck at gold for 5 years, or I've been stuck at whatever for 10 years. You're not stuck. But until you can push toward the hard stuff to where you have some hard things to go through and over, if you don't do those things and find those things that's hard, you will stay right here. You have to push and look for those challenges. And you need them in order to go to the next level. A diamond is just really a rank of someone who has had so many challenges that you're like, okay, I got that. I can teach that. I can teach that because I've lived it and I can tell people how to get through it. So that's what the ranks are. Just because you're a diamond or you're a gold doesn't mean anything. It shouldn't mean anything in anyone's eyes except, here's what you're getting paid, and you've been through a lot more stuff than I have, if maybe you're brand new. So just hanging in there, having that grit, being so hungry that you're willing to do whatever it takes. You're willing to not close and shut down when you have challenges, but you're willing to push through. Another thing that I love to mention, and I definitely am going to open this up to Q&A, but I want to cover a couple more things that I think have been a really key to success for me through life, really. And I know that probably the first 10 years of my other business when I was young, I had not learned this lesson. This is a hard one, but worrying about what people think. I mean, that's a huge thing. I know it is. But let me give you an example. So I broke this week, yesterday, I have two fingernails off. Okay, I have two fingernails off. And used to, I would be like putting a Band-Aid on or trying to paint it, going to the store to I'm like worrying about what people think about something like that. And I want you to think about this. If I came on right now, I'm showing you this, and if I had not told you about it, but I was just sitting here, and you're looking at that, I want you to think right now what you would think in that moment when you saw my fingernails like that, and I had not told you the story. I want you to think really quick, like what would you have thought about me? What would have been your judgment? Okay, I want you to think that. And then I want you to think, okay, after you thought that, how would that affect me if I never knew that you thought that? If one of you thought, oh, how tacky, oh my gosh, she's a diamond in the company, she'd come on a Zoom and just or no makeup and a hat. But if I didn't know your judgment on me, how would that affect me? It wouldn't, right? It's none of my business what you think of me. It's not my business what you think of me. And this is also what I've learned. And this is just being in my 50s. I've learned this probably in the last 7 or 8 years. It's such a great place to be in life, by the way, is people are going to judge you. Let's say you're a stay-at-home mom and you guys are kind of struggling financially, but you're a stay-at-home mom because you want to raise those kids. Somebody's judging you because they know you struggle, but they're going to say, I cannot believe, I mean, she could go get a job. I mean, she could go get a job, at least a part-time job, and take some of that pressure off. But then she gets a part-time job, and somebody's going to say, I cannot believe she would get a job and put those children in daycare or put them off on her elderly mother. They're just going to do it. You have to make your decisions based on you, your family, what you know your calling is, what you know God called you to do in this life, and you cannot worry about the people who are going to judge you because they're judging somebody else in about 5 minutes. They've already forgotten about you and they're off to judging someone else. So I wanted to those are some biggies right there. Um, be willing to do what other people want. Um, the little things sometimes that you think, someone says, maybe it's a new customer and they ran out of something and it's not here yet. And you be willing to drive and meet them. Be willing to drive 45 minutes to an hour and take them 5 days worth out of yours to get them through. Be willing to make a phone call to somebody that's has nothing to do with your team or anything, but someone says, I met a girl. I know I'm not on your team, but she's got the same story as you. Would you be willing to share it? Be willing to do those things because they may be little things to you, they may be big things to you. I consider those minor things that, like, I know they make a big difference for somebody else. Be that person because that stuff really shows, and it really shows up not just the people you help, it shows up in your life. Shows up in your life. Do the right thing. I've many people have come to me and said, I'd love to be on your team. People think, oh, there's some magic if they could be on your team. That's crazy. That's a self-belief thing. They need more belief in themselves. There's nothing any other diamond or team could do to help them become more successful than where they are. It is up to them. If it is to be, it's up to me, right? They need to do a checkup from the neck up because it is all right here. It's all right here. And I can tell you that for many years, I'm going to open this up right now. Many years when I struggled with challenges and just like, why am I not where I want to be? Every time I've struggled with it and I pull up my boots and go, I can either go further down and go into a pity party and literally just shut down. Or I can stop right now and pull myself up and go, okay, you know how to fix this. You know how to turn the ship around. And every time I make that decision to turn the ship around, I turn the ship around. You can make a decision, and there's nothing more powerful than your decision to do something. And there's also nothing more painful than the pain of regret. And so I want you to think about that. If you don't do what you know you need to do to get here, what's the consequences? Always evaluate what's the consequences if I don't do this. Maybe you've been procrastinating on this, and this for 6 months. What would happen if you took the 10 minutes that it would probably take to reach out to those people and do it anyway, and then sit back and see what's going to happen? You're probably going to be shocked. You're probably going to be surprised. That confidence, you can own your confidence. You can have it. And that is a decision. That I remember when I was scared to talk to a doctor about plexus, or someone who made way more than me about plexus. I remember. And then I remember when like the last few years being like, oh, if I get a chance to talk to any doctor, I'm going to talk to them about it. And I do, and I love it. Like my own doctors, I'm like, you have a lane. We have a lane that the world is starting to see now. We are the original gut health company. People are linking gut health to all health. And we've had it, and I believe we're just beginning with where we're going with it. It is so exciting where we're going. So I just want to kind of leave you with that and open up to Q&A. I did have a few little conversation liners I wanted to give you. And if we don't have a ton of questions, I will go over those. I need to just be off here by 15 till, so I've got 15 minutes, but I'm free to stay on that long. So I'll open it up. Noelle, did you want to ask or say anything, or anybody want to? I didn't know how you want to end it.
I totally think if anyone has questions to ask, but I was wondering if you could also tell them a little bit about your mindset journey. And I know like you had just done that whole series for everyone on affirmations and the importance of the way you think about yourself, talk to yourself.
Yep. Yeah. When I was early in Mary Kay, early on, I was in my 20s, and I was introduced to affirmations, and I'm a Christian. I remember thinking, this is far out. This is like witchcraft or something. And then I realized after, there's so many scriptures talking about, the power of the tongue, and you speak life or you speak death, and what you think about, you bring about, what you put in, you get out, you reap the harvest anyway. So then I dug a lot deeper, and I remember when I started using affirmations, and back then, years ago, we didn't have cell phones, by the way, and I had a little Walkman. Some of you remember those, and I remember taking the cassette tape, and I would record. I would buy an endless loop tape. You don't need to write this down; they no longer exist. Now you have an iPhone, and you just have an app that repeats it. But an endless loop tape would repeat your affirmations over and over. And I remember recording my affirmations in positive present tense as is happening. So let's just say that you are like, let me give you an example of one. So instead of saying, I want to be a ruby by Christmas, I'm just throwing this out there, you would say, I am so excited that I hit ruby on or before December 31st or December 25th, whatever. You put those words in, on or before. And I'm excited that like present tense as is. Because yes, okay, yeah, there's so many apps. I haven't seen that one. Okay, there's repeat it again. Oh goodness, I have both on my phone. Repeat it again is what I use, but you say things as is happening. And what I would do is I would play that as I went to bed with it on my ears, and it would just play over and over all through the night. So what it's doing is it's reprogramming your mind. Now, if you don't think your mind is programmed, if you don't think you have a subconscious mind, how come you don't sit down and purposely watch a State Farm commercial or something that has a jingle to it, but you know it by heart? How come you can drive an hour and not pay attention, you get there and you go, I don't even remember getting here because you've done it over and over and over. You hear it without thinking about it. You do have a mind and a subconscious mind. So when you literally say the same things all the time and you're hearing the same negative things all the time, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'll never be healthy. I mean, it's in my family. I'll never be thin. Everyone in my family is overweight. I'll never make that much money. No one in this, like everything you're saying, your brain, your little computer's going, okay, okay, and it's recording it. It's going, okay, I'll remind you of this all the time, all the time. So you have to reprogram that and you have to put things in there as where you want to be and present tense. And with the year I did that consistently was my highest year in Mary Kay. Like won the Cadillac, went across stage for all three things. You know, I never went across stage for more than one. And I won a lot of cars, but I always wanted to win the Cadillac. And so the year that I won the Cadillac was the year that I literally did it every single night. I might have skipped a night or two, but very consistent. It works. And if you don't have the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, I was looking for it to show you. It's probably back there. No, it's right here. This is a great book. Oops. And me and Helen did we did a book study on it. It's on my YouTube channel, and you can do the study. It's like a 6 weeks or 8 week study. It's really good. It looks thick, but it's a book that's really hard to put down. You will just love it. But it's called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Dr. Shad Helmstetter. Old book that's worth reading over and over in your life. Treasure, but probably one of my top 3 favorite books. So, any questions? I know, Noelle, that's like a whole 6 hour.
I know,
I need to
but
do that again. I need to revamp it and do that whole program again because it is so powerful.
yes, do it again, please. What are your other 2 top favorite books?
Oh gosh. Well, John Maxwell's um I love Failing Forward to Success. That's for everyone. I have like his leadership books, probably 21 Laws of Leadership, 15 Irrefutable Laws. If you're if you've not read the 15 Irrefutable Laws, that one you would read first before you read the 21 Laws. But Failing Forward to Success is such a great book because it really does give you a lot of permission to move forward and not look at everything you do as a failure, but as truly it's how you learn. Your kid falls off a bike, you don't say, "Oh, don't get back on, you're a failure." Right? Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we do it? Ugh, yeah. Look at yourself as a kid and all your dreams and like you weren't limited. You were not limited until people told you you were. Ugh. Yes, I do need to revamp that class because I could talk for hours on that alone. All
Can I
right. Any more questions? Hi, Steph.
Hey, I don't have any questions, but I want to share a few things really quickly, and anybody else who has any questions, please. But Sonya, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know how I feel about you. You are one of my favorite people in Plexus, and I know there's some newer people on the call tonight on our team. We are on Sonya's team. This is one big team here. Sonya is not just an amazing diamond in Plexus, she's our upline. So Sonya is one of those people. Anytime Noelle and I have reached out to her about anything, Noelle and I talk on the phone almost every day. And I have to say this, and I know she won't mind if I share this, but we just talked on the phone yesterday and she's like, Steph, I was having a bad day. I was all in my feels. I texted Sonya and I was talking blah, blah, blah. And Sonya, you just talked her off a ledge and just were poured into her. And you guys, Sonya was that person, her and Helen both. And I always have to remind myself, you are Helen's level 1, right? You signed up under Helen? Okay. So when I first joined Plexus and I was trying to understand this industry because I wasn't in it, I was like, who is our upline? Whose team are we on? I want to meet these women. Like we're all one here. I really wanted to know them. And I met Sonya and Helen at Leaders Retreat in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I went up and I introduced myself and they talked to me like they had known me their whole life. They made me feel so welcome. and just have been so accommodating since then. Years later, we did a team retreat in Nashville. I live in Florida. I have a Georgia team, a Florida team, a Michigan team. Sonya's in Tennessee. I said, hey, we're coming to Nashville to do our team retreat. Do you think you could come and show up? No question. Where's it at? I'll be there. So this is the type of woman she is. Not to mention, she's been in this industry, like she said, for years. And there's so much wisdom that comes with this industry. So when I can look someone like her in the eye and she says to me, Plexus is the real deal, and this company isn't going anywhere. I don't care what you see going on around you, who's jumping ship or what other companies are doing. Plexus is the real deal. I 100%, that means so much to me, and I really just appreciate that about her and Helen, because they're industry experts, and as far as I consider industry experts. So they've not only just been such leaders and mentors, just the industry expert thing they bring to the table with all of us being on their team, it's priceless. So I'm going to shut up there because I saw in the chat here. Kim, you have a question?
Yes.
Hey, Sonya, I do. If we have time, I
Yes,
remember meeting
yes.
you. I think for the first time I was on the flight. We might have been in Atlanta going out to my first Emerald Extravaganza, and I was like, "That's Sonya." We were like all on the same flight, like Jessica
Yeah.
Heffley, all of us. It was so.
Yes.
But anyways, I have a question for you. So I recently realized, and a lot of my team, Chelsea, a lot of us have had this realization lately that we made the mistake of leading with the products for a long time. And we love the products and they're great, but that we weren't attracting the business builders that we wanted and people that were going to go jewel and beyond because we weren't positioning ourselves as like, I'm a business mentor and I can help you make money and all that stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And so we've been making a lot of shifts and doing that. And I had never really done business reach outs. And so starting to do business reach outs, starting to share about the business opportunity more and consistently. And what I've noticed is my likes are story views, likes, all of that's been down. But I'm watching and I feel like I'm not really getting a lot of traction or interest after 2 to 3 months of making this change and doing it consistently. But I watch people like Jessica Heffley, Emily Roberts, and a lot of other people. And it seems that, and like yourself, that y'all constantly share the business. But I've noticed that I don't feel like you guys get all these comments and all these things like me. So I feel like maybe the secret sauce is that you just keep doing it and those conversations are happening like behind the scenes and people are more likely to reach out. But I wasn't sure if you had anything, because I think a lot of us are feeling that way, like not necessarily discouraged, but like, how do you get those business builders? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have so many times in our minds we think, oh, I've talked to so many people, but I don't have anybody interested. But in reality, have we really talked to that many people, or we've made a post and we've had some likes and we've talked, maybe had 3 conversations, but we feel like in our mind it's all we're doing. So I would challenge you to, number one, know that we live in a society where people want things easy, and we have to make this look easy. It is a very simple business, very simple. But if our team sees us working 24/7, if we brag about, oh, I was on the phone to the end of the month till midnight, and oh, I'm starting tomorrow, and oh, it's Thanksgiving, but I'm going to work. That's not attractive to me. So we have to be careful what we put out there as the image people see. To me, what's more attractive is when I see people living their best life and on vacation and doing things, but they're working behind the scenes with the people that want to work. There's not that many people that are going to want to work. You have to create that and get that started. Find that person. It's not easy to do. It's not. There are a lot of people out there who want to make some money. There's not a lot of people out there who they perceive what we do as hard and one of those things. So we have to figure out what can we post to make it be like, let me just share a story. Oh my gosh, went to the grocery store today. I was actually able to buy the cheese in the cheese area and not have to go to wow, what a great feeling. I've never been able to do this. I'm just so thankful for the extra money from my side gig. Not making it sound like, you're out here putting in 15 hours a week on the phone and staying up late night and sacrificing on a holiday. And so I think that perception, um, I think we led with the business. That's all. I mean, I led with the business past Diamond. I mean, I didn't know enough about the products to say anything except this is what they've done for me. They're amazing. Let me show you the detailed comp plan. And I'd have that big poster. Stephanie probably remembers. I'd pull that thing down and I'd go through the whole comp plan, all the way to the diamond pool, to the cars, the Lexus, the trips. I would share every detail. I would explain the pay point. Times 100 is gold. This is your average income. We only talked about the business. So we got away from it. Compliance cracked down on us, scared us all to death, and we cracked down on it. And then we had a lot of growth and changes, and we've just not gotten back to how to present that in a way that it's not overwhelming and that it's motivating and it doesn't make this seem hard. That's where I think we are. And you're not alone. I can make a post, what color paint should I paint my kitchen? And I'll have 700 comments within 2 days. No kidding. I can say something about Plexus and it's 2 or 3 comments and it's ambassadors. But I know people are seeing it. So if you feel like, is anybody seeing my stuff? Make a crazy post about what color paint to do something, or you know what I'm saying, what kind of appliance, and then watch then you've engaged them back and you'll know who's really seeing things.
Thank you. And sounds like you led with the business day one. And I think that's the thing. Sometimes we look at people like you or Brooke Hemingway or Jessica Kathleen, we're like, how did they do it? But it's like, that's why we're trying to get our teams to realize, like, lead with the business now. Like, what I wish I would have done is not waited until I was Emerald to start sharing and leading with the business, you know?
Yeah, but good for you. You're there. You got a good platform to change things. That's great.
Thank you.
Good question.
I know you start out at 9:15. Well, 8:15 for you. So we just truly, truly appreciate you, Sonya.
It was so fun. I love y'all so much. Stephanie, that was too sweet, all that, but thank you. And Noelle, my goodness. We all go back so far. Just such a beautiful company, such beautiful, beautiful people in this company. I will never leave this company. I will never leave these people. It's so important to me. Such good people. Culture is amazing. All right. Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. Where did November go? And I'm excited to see many of you on the cruise. You still have plenty of time. Let's go to work. This is one thing I'll leave you with in December. December, people say nobody's going to do anything in December. Your mind shift is, I'm going to find 10 people myself. And I'm looking for 10 people that I can lock arms with, help you. And we're going to get your products ordered. And January 1st, we're going to get you on a health path, but we're going to get not only your products paid for, but we're going to double that in January. So I'm looking for people I can help do that. Jump aboard with me. And you can do a lot in December. A lot in December. My goodness. So change that right away. All right.
Thank you.
Love you
Thank
guys.
you, Sonya. Love
Thank
ya.
you. Y'all have a great weekend. Have a good Thanksgiving with your family. So much to be grateful for. So much.